The running back position, Marshall, all you hear about are quarterbacks. What's your thoughts on the way the running back position is evaluated by these NFL decision makers?
A father just asked me, he said, hey, look, I got a son that's a running back that'll be in the draft. I got two more sons, and they both play running back. He's like, what advice do you have? I said, don't be just a running back. You cannot be just a running back. That's like just being the first, second down guy, not understanding third down, not having the ability to move out into the slot and be a serviceable guy or play special teams. And you can no longer just be a running back. That's not allowed. You have to be a football player that plays running back, not playing football as a running back. It's not accepted. The NFL is trying to identify the best football players. They don't care what position you play. They want to put the best football players on the field. That's why you see San Francisco using Deebo Samuel as a running back. You start to see the interchangeable positions with tight ends being able to – teams are playing with 2 and 3 tight ends on the field. You have to be able to do more, and we're going to get there. You're going to see multiple quarterbacks come in and out of the game. When you have a guy, a runner and a thrower, teams are going to start to do that because you got to get the most out of the players that you have.
Speaking of talent, Rich had Bijan Robinson on the other day, and he was just incredibly impressive in his conversation with Rich. Where do you think he should be drafted?
Listen, as early as possible. And what I would like for him is to go to a team that has a good quarterback and a pretty decent offense, because the hard part, it's great being the first, second, third round pick. I mean, not third round, but third pick of the draft. When you're an early pick, you want to be an early pick. That's what you want. You want to be the first overall, second overall, third overall. But you got to remember, you're going to a crappy team. And that means they might not have a good quarterback. They might not have a good offensive line, and you have to endure. You have to endure. So I would like him to go to a contender. It sounds crazy, but fall into the middle of the first and go to a team that's like on the verge of maybe making the playoffs, or they made some moves that they're in a better position than they were last year. Because you don't want to go. You don't want listen. As crazy as it sounds, it's a badge of honor to be the first overall pick. But then again, you're going to a pretty crappy team.
Speaking of guys who are in the league, I'm wondering about Zeke Elliott. Like, what's his future like? Where's his mindset right now, Marshall?
Well, I like to say his future is bright, but the mindset, as we all have egos, it takes a hit. It's understood. This business it's fickle, man. You could be the star one day, and then one day you could not have a star on the side of your helmet. And that with that, now it's like it's getting healthy, understanding what it was. You cannot be healthy for back-to-back years and make a lot of money. That doesn't work. So health is important. And Zeke was the opposite. He got drafted pretty high and went to a team that had a really good offensive line. And the last couple of years, that offensive line wasn't what it was when he was putting up big numbers. And so he found himself in a position that, you don't want to be in. You don't want to be banged up playing behind an offensive line that you have to get creative in the backfield before you get to the line of scrimmage. And now it's like, where do you go? Who do you play for? Finding a team where you can be successful, where your skill set is wanted and needed, and you can have success. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that right away.
It is funny as you say that. I just think when Zeke was in the draft, all you heard about was he was the second coming of everybody. And you're right. And your ego does take a hit when you suddenly realize that you may not be who they thought you were. It's like that old famous, we are who they thought they were, only the opposite.
Yeah, it's something that you have to deal with. And listen, he's no different than me, no different than anybody that played the game. At some point in time, it's father time or it's injuries, and it could be both. But we'll have to see. We'll see if a healthy Ezekiel Elliott is his old self, or is he his old self?
What about Austin Ekeler. The Chargers have clearly let him go out there and seek a trade, and he wants a new contract. What's your advice for him? What do you think is going to shake out there?
Listen, based on the percentage of the offense he deserves more money. And at the same time, the Chargers, when you're a decision maker, what you got to decide is, okay, when this guy touched the ball that much, do we win? and when you decide that that's not the case, then you have to make a decision. You have to make a business decision. And for the Chargers, it's about business. They're in this to make business decisions. I think he's going to end up somewhere and really be on the team that he's either going to get a lot of money and play for a bad team, or he's not going to make that much money and play for a good team. That's pretty much it. But he gets to make that decision, and he's in control of his future. The Chargers have given him the rights to go out to do that. And, I want what's best for Austin. Great player, a great addition to any team, and a guy that you can win with.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.